Hi everyone! How is everyone doing this Sapphic Sunday? I'm excited for this game that is totally not very sad. Not as sad as the other Ebi-Hime games. We're playing the sad story of Emmeline Burns. I can't read cursive very well. I can't read cursive! I forgot. My ability to read cursive does not exist. Therefore, I cannot read this very well. I was excited. This UI is very snazzy. I like this main menu. It's very interesting. But I wasn't doing this Sapphic Sunday. It wasn't well. I ate food. I played 3 rounds of Splatoon. I haven't done anything this whole Splatfest. Yay! I'm wasting the Splatfest away. Yay! The Splatfest is gonna end. I ain't gonna do shit. I ain't gonna contribute anything at all. Yay! But you sure were painting the lobby pink. You sure were. Very normal behavior. Painting the whole Splat lobby pink and doing nothing else of importance. But I also had foods, and also I watched a bit of an Invincible season 2 because I need to catch up on that at some point. I'm almost done, I think. Just a few more hours, I'm finished watching the series. The season 2, wow, whoa! But, yeah, it's really it. Hope everyone's been well. Hope your weekend's been good so far. It's technically ending soon, sadly, oh no. But, we're here to be playing this game that totally isn't very sad. Totally not very sad. We'll never know. I can't read what this says. Totally not a sad story of Emmeline Burns. Emmeline? I'm gonna figure out how to say her name. How to say this word. I'm not a fox. Why is there a long intro to this video of how to pronounce the name? Emmeline? Emmeline. Wow, what a fun time! Emmeline, that makes sense actually. Well, let's start the game with this drawer. The menu is really snazzy. I'm liking it. It's really interesting. Let's go. New game. New game. And this also is a British game. I got an achievement. What's in the name? I didn't read that in time. Fuck. It's all at Catherine's fault. So this is the first time I've seen anything with that spelling of the name Catherine specifically, with a K and a Y. And I was like, this is funny. It's all Aunt Catherine's fault, of course. Most things are, according to Mum. Stealing Mum's favourite dress when they were both schoolgirls was bad enough, but stealing the names of her first and only daughter? Now that's a low not many of us can sink to within our lifetimes. Also going for really bad British accents because this game is British. This game is set in the British area. Whoa, British. My name was supposed to be Emilia. Mum has always loved that name, Amelia. Though I don't know why. She wanted to call me Amelia if I was a girl, and Thomas if I was a boy. After her father. And then Aunt Catherine ruined everything. Aunt Catherine fell pregnant with her first child around the same time my mum found out she was going to have me. Their due dates were also very similar, only a few weeks apart. Though Mum and Aunt Catherine have never been particularly close, they spent more time together during their twin pregnancies than they had done over the last decade. They attended the same hospital for their checkups, went to the same support group at the Civic Centre, and their rocky relationship improved over complaints about bladder infections, morning sickness, and uncontrollable cravings for anchovies. Mum, or smoked cheese, Aunt Catherine. Aunt Catherine getting knocked the fuck up. And then Aunt Catherine stole my name. Aunt Catherine is 1 year younger than my mum, but she always got things first. That's what Mum told me. She was the first to have her period, to pierce her ears, and to have a serious boyfriend. She was the first to have a baby too. A baby girl. A girl named Amelia. Mum didn't know what to do, having her dream name stolen away from her so suddenly. She had half a mind to confront Aunt Catherine about it, but she didn't in the end. She'd only just begun to repair her relationship with her sister, and she didn't want to ruin it. But she was still annoyed. She still is. Mum could have called me Amelia anyway, but the name didn't feel special anymore. Not when Aunt Catherine had used it. In the end, after much deliberation, Mum decided to go with her second option, Thomas. Though I was a girl, however, Thomas was out of the question. Was there a female variant of Thomas? Thomasina? Thomasandria? Thomasetta? Maybe not. There was Toma, however, Toma Andrews. That's how I got my name. That might explain why I don't like it very much. My lips are chapped. Give me a moment. Toma? Toma Andrews? No, Toma. Not Tomo. Toma. My name isn't really mine. Like clothes that are 2 sizes too big. It doesn't fit me properly. It never has. That's because it was never intended for me. If I'd been called Amelia, would my life have been any different? Would it change who I am? I don't know, because I've never been an Amelia. I'm just Toma. The weird girl with the weird name. And my name isn't the only weird thing about me. Ever since I can remember, my mum has been obsessed with family history. She says it's like playing detective, peeking back into the past with only fragments of information, trying to find the truth. Mum took me to the library with her, took me to the library when I was small, so she could keep a watchful eye over my little blonde head while she delved into the annals of our family's long-lost history. There, she would spend hours and hours searching through the online database and old archives, on the hunt for articles about the Spencers, or the Kendalls, or the Lintons, or the Becketts, or the Bradfords. And fortunately, our family used to be pretty rich back in the day. Mum says it's a lot easier to research your family tree if you come from a wealthy background. Wrong button. There are more records kept on the comings and goings of the rich, as opposed to a street beggar or paupers. That's probably because of the money. As soon as money is involved, people will pay attention to you. It was like that back in the 1700s, and it's exactly the same now. I remember that the floor of the library was hard, covered in dark green carpet that was uncomfortable and scratchy. And the walls were a dull grey like the concrete blocks in a multi-story car park. Though Mum got me a library card, I always got bored within the first half hour or so. There are only so many times you can reread volumes of Goosebumps. Despite these inconveniences, however, I still found the stories Mum would tell me about my long-dead relatives interesting. The stories sounded like they came from the pages of a book. Not real life. Not history. My history. The stories sound like a landline phone. Wow. There were stories about my great-great-grandfather, Zachary Kendall, who used to be a priest, but was fired from his post after he physically abused, assaulted a member of his congregation while drunk on Christmas Day. There were stories about my great-great-great-grandmother, Maribel Spencer, who ran away from home at the age of 15 to marry her middle-aged piano teacher, Roger Beckett. There are stories about my great-great-great-great-aunt, Rose Bradford, who was rumoured to be a witch and claimed she could cure any ache or illness with a sprig of holly. I don't know why, but these stories my mum told me of unknown people from unfamiliar times always resonates with me. Maybe it was because they weren't fictional characters or celebrities, but real people. My family. Part of me. I wouldn't be alive right now without Zachary Kendall, even if he did beat up a member of his congregation, and I wouldn't be alive without Maribel Spencer, even if she did have a thing for older men who could play a semi-decent fleur-de-lis. In a way, I owe them. I owe them a lot. I suppose what they say is true. Blood really is thicker than water. But that's not the whole cult. And, speaking of blood, the local library wasn't the only place my mum's investigation led her. Oh no! That was just the tip of the iceberg. She used to take me to the cemeteries a lot. Not just to this cemetery. Not just to this cemetery, burial by All Saints, but cemeteries all across Lincolnshire. And sometimes even further afield, to Yorkshire, or that place. I can't read that. I can't fucking read that. The thing about a family history is, if you get obsessed with it, like Mum, birth certificates and death certificates stop being enough. You want to see their real evidence of their ancestors' past lives for yourself. Hence, the graveyards. Lots and lots of graveyards. Every weekend, without fail, my mum would take me to a trip to a graveyard searching for ancestors. Sometimes we'd turn it into a game. We'd challenge one another, see who could find Rose Bradford's final resting place the quickest. The winner got to choose what we'd listen to in the car on the way home. Ah yes, English town names. Leicestershire. What was that, my mum's daughter? But my mum's daughter, I hated her taste in music. Being my mum's daughter, I hated her taste in music, and it was desperate to beat her. I got quite good at finding graves, if I had to say so myself. Even though I was around 7 or 8, and my legs weren't as long as my mum, I was always able to beat her 9 times out of 10. I used to think she was going to eat on me. Now, I'm not so sure. I just have a talent. I'm good at finding dead people, even if they have been dead for 2 centuries, and all that's left behind are bones. Now, let me get one thing straight. I'm not crazy. Let me get one thing straight. I'm not crazy. I don't think dead people call out to me or anything. I've never seen a ghost before, excluding the ones in horror movies. I guess it's just a coincidence. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a graveyard full of my ancestors, and my ancestors drive me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, but that's quite a strange coincidence. Now let me get one thing straight. I'm not crazy. Whenever I went to the graveyard with my mum, I just knew where to look, almost instinctively. My feet just happened to lead me to the tombstone via some strange skill I might have inherited from Rose Bradford, the self-proclaimed psychic. I was usually right. That might be why I'm so obsessed with cemeteries, even now. Just like some people prefer hot weather, others cold, I like graveyards. They remind me of my childhood, of fun times with me mum, searching for me relatives. When I went out looking for graves with me mum, I was almost always right. Ever since I started attending St. Hugh's College, however, I've only ever felt wrong. Though I get good grades in most of my classes, I'm hopelessly lost when it comes to anything beyond that. I have hardly any friends other than Katie, and even she might turn against me if she knew how I felt about her. How do you feel about her? Nothing like Amelia Miller. She just so happened to be in the same form as me. They're always surrounded by people. They all love her. Would they love me if I'd been called Amelia instead? I don't quite know. But I do know, even though it's unfair and ridiculous, and I don't like Amelia, I'm so jealous of her. Her parents are still together. Her father has a good job. And she has nice skin and pretty blue eyes. And she's incredibly popular. I, on the other hand, am awkward and shy. I can't quite hold a conversation with anybody other than Haiti. That might be another reason why I like graveyards. There are lots of people in them, but they can't bother me like they do in school. They're dead, and that's pretty fine by me. As the saying goes, dead men tell no tales. They only leave tales behind, which we can examine if we see fit. That's why I came to Borough All Saints this Friday. Instead of catching the bus to go to school, I just wanted some time off. A few moments where I can stop being myself, a person I've never liked. If only I had been born as Amelia. Then my life would be so much better. I would be so much better. That day, the day is overcast, but early autumn, and a thick layer of fog creeps along the ground. The grass is wet with the morning dew, but the soil underneath it is firm and hard. Ooh, book. I suppose that's to be expected. You wouldn't want to build a graveyard on marshland, where people would run the risk of falling through the earth and into the graves. I might have an affinity for the dead, but not even I fancy popping in for an unexpected visit with Gerald Fisher, 1843 to 1912, and a line, Life of the Above. It's cold too. The wind shakes down my spine, I shiver. It isn't a rough wind though, instead it's soft, loud as fuck, rushing past my cheeks and through my hair in an almost arpeggic manner. The leaves of the tree are fucking why is this wind so loud as hell? Calm the fuck down, wind. Thank you very much. The leaves on the tree are dark green, some already turning red and yellow. The sun in the sky is obscured by clouds, so everything looks grey. My feet crunch over the stray leaves with every step I take. That's the only sound I can hear, besides the loudest wind. It's me, the wind, and the leaves. As I walk through these well-trodden paths, I pause, examining each tombstone that catches my interest. Something strangely inviting about these old slabs of stone. Almost as though they're greeting me. And why wouldn't they? I've been here often enough. They should know me by now. Any other mother would probably find their only daughter's obsession with graveyards unsettling. Fortunately, my mum is just as weird as I am. So she doesn't question it. She must know my love of graveyards is all her fault. I nod my head in recognition as I patch each gravestone. Alistair Doncaster, Irene Douglas, Charlotte Draper, Doreen Hughes, Abel Johnson, Genevieve Parson, Aubrey Wedgwood. I wonder what these people reduced to nothing more than names and bones. What lives they led. Were they happy, sad, or merely bemused by all the consequences which led them into being? For Alistair Doncaster, that happened in 1979. For Irene Douglas, it was 1994. What was the world like back then, when these people were alive and their footsteps, not mine, crunched the leaves and fell firmly against the compacted earth? I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine. As I walk through the graveyard, like Alice sinking into Wonderland, heavy thought suddenly strikes me. What would it be like if I was already dead? I close my eyes. The cold wind blows across my cheeks, and I swear I can almost smell it. The earth in my nostrils. The scent of decay. Ah. Huh? What was that sound? It was almost like a footstep. But that can't be. I'm the only person here, after all. At least, I thought I was. Not anymore. A young girl stands in the bedroom. A young girl stands there, her arms held by her sides, her eyes wide and blue. A young man stands in his bedroom. Just so happens today. The 3rd of April. This is young man's birthday. Her hair is loose, light brown, her fringe cut just above her eyebrows. She wears a white dress, long and modest, which falls to her ankles. No! A young girl stands in the bedroom. Her dress is comprised of a number of layers. Looks like something that belongs to another era. Another time. In England, when Queen Victoria was on the throne, and the horse and carriage was still the main way people got around. It was socially acceptable to wear mods in public. She looked like nobody I've ever seen before, except characters in period dramas. There's something so unrealistic about her appearance. I can hardly bring myself to believe that she is really real. And that's why I'm doing something I rarely ever do. My curiosity unsticks my throat. I find myself asking her a question. Are you going to a costume party? Are you referring to this old thing? That doesn't look like some old thing. It's expensive, right? I only have one voice. I believe it was rather dear when father has first purchased it. However, I am not particularly well versed in the economy, so I could not give you an answer. Father? What kind of girl calls their dad father? Whoopsies. Maybe I'm just biased because my dad vanished before I was ever born. Mom told me he couldn't cope with the commitment. Which is quite funny, really, because he had no qualms about commitment when he asked me to sleep with him. But father sounds too dated. I haven't even touched on the other stuff, she said. Oh, the girl smiled. Her face remained pale and does not flush, but I can imagine blood courses beneath her cheeks all the same. She gives the impression of blushing, even though she is not. I suppose most people would use dad nowadays. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with such a phrase, and it sounds quite peculiar to me. And the plot thickens. My question only seems to invite more questions, and I find myself drawn towards this strange girl despite myself. I want to know who she is. I want to understand her. It must be this feeling, this desperate thirst for hidden knowledge, which encouraged Mum to track down what now remains of Zachary Kendall, Maribel Spencer, Rose, Bramble, Bradford, and the rest. So, I've not seen you around Burrowby before. Do you live here? I have lived here for a very long time. But you don't look nice. You don't look much older than me. I will be 15 years this December. At least, I should be. She's 14 too. You said you've lived here for a long time, but I've never seen you before. You don't go to St. Hugh's, do you? She shakes her head. So what school do you go to? Ruskin? Sandon? Not Wharton Girls? She shakes her head again. Then are you homeschooled? That would explain why she's doing this graveyard. What she's doing this graveyard at 20 past 8 on a Friday morning. Wearing such strange outfit. She might as well have fled from one of those old-fashioned photography parlors places. I suppose I was homeschooled, yes. I've never been to school before. I used to have Ellie, but I have not seen her in many time. Ellie? A private tutor? Something like that, yes. She was rather strict. She got so angry that I escaped from her stuffy old history lessons and hid over at the Lincoln State. She smiles, a soft, gentle smile, like an old woman with rheumy eyes, much when recalling a fond memory. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody my age pull a face like that before. But who is this girl? But you don't have tutor anymore? There wouldn't be much point anymore. Is she one of those YouTube celebrities then? She looks the part of those clothes. I can imagine her as one of those eccentric, self-proclaimed living dolls who got thousands of subscribers for eating food on camera. Are you not doing mukbangs? I'm sorry. This is the first question I should have asked. What's your name? Emily. Emily. I think I can remember that. It's a common name. There are two Emilys in my class. Emily Hargreaves and Emily Turner. I don't know if this name fits the girl in front of me, though Emily sounds too simple. Somehow an unfinished too. Like a sentence ending with a full stop. I don't investigate any further, however. I hardly know this girl. What right do I have to ask too many questions? So, if it would not be too rude, may I inquire as to what I should call you? Oh, I should have expected this. When somebody asks for your name, it's only polite to ask for theirs in return. I don't like answering this question, though. I never have. Just what is my name, anyway? It says Toma on my birth certificate, but I can't bring myself to believe that. Not when I was fated, before I took my first breath, be called Amelia. Oh my, you don't look so troubled. You will make me feel guilty. I'm sorry. What a funny girl. You don't need to apologize. She thinks I'm funny, does she? That kind of stings, given how peculiar she looks. You do not need to tell me your name, if you do not wish to. We all have our secrets. Are you sure you don't mind? I'm quite sure. I could just make up a name for you instead. Well, I hope you're not adverse to the suggestion. I rather like giving people nicknames. I would always call Miss Warren Ellie. Her first name was Helena, you see, but she got mad at me because of that, too. This girl has no manners, she would always say. She may have a pretty face, but she behaves like a gutter snipe. Not that I gave a button what she thought. Father was paying her enough, so I thought it best to make her work for her wages. She may have found me irritating, but I certainly wasn't boring. Well, I suppose it's fine. Then I can think of a name for you. Yes, it doesn't bother me. Anything would be better than Toma. Nothing's better than Toma. Toma is a good name. Toma is bizarre. Well, let me see. Emily looked me up and down, one finger against her lip, her lower lip. Her smile is teasing, and her eyes flash mischievously, like a naughty girl's in an Enid Violet story. Python. And she'll be talking about condensed milk and tin sardines next, I'm sure of it. Is it true we don't know? It is true we don't know one another. Well, but it is just in the present. I feel that we should become quite close, if given the chance. You remind me of so much of her, after all. Can it be a mere coincidence? Her? I thought so from behind, too. But when you returned, that became clearer than ever. You have her nose, and her eyes. Maybe even her forehead, too. But it's hard to tell since it's all covered in hair. Well, I look at the ground, suddenly awkward, and dig the tip of my school shoes into the earth. I shake my right foot slightly, make a small indentation in the air. A minute grey for an aunt. I don't know if I like being compared to other people. I do that enough myself. Even if I do look like your friends, I don't think I want their name. I was hoping for my own. Yes, of course. You do not need to worry about that. I would never be so callous to dress you in the title of another. I apologize if it seems that way. She does sound sorry, too. Truly sorry. Even if you look like her, you're not her. You couldn't be. It'd be too possible. It's not possible. I cannot read English. Oh God. A sigh. So let me see. A name for you. A name that belongs to you and only you. I think I have it. From now on, you can be Verity. Verity? Do you like it? It's pretty. Much prettier than my real name. Emily smiles, her face flush, though once more it doesn't really flush. I just imagine that it does. With happiness. I'm so glad. I thought that virtue names might be too anachronistic nowadays, but I truly am fond of them. My aunt was called Charity, and my grandmother was Patience. Not that she was particularly patient. She used to be hit my father for the smallest of misdemeanors when he was a young boy. But that was a long time ago. My face darkens, but only for a few moments. At any rate, I'm curious. Why are you in a gloomy place like this at such an hour, when you should be at a school? Oh, I just like graveyards, I guess. They're relaxing. Relaxing? That is quite the strange thing to say. Why do you like that? I'm not sure. I just like them. They're nice and quiet, and people don't come here much. When they do, they're quiet too. It's the respectful thing to do. Apart from the local boys who tramp about here, drunk on Friday nights and piss on the headstones, and scout and scrawl rude words on them. I glance at the nearby grave. That of an Elijah, or Elisha, Burrow. Somebody has scrawled across the top of it in black marker pen, "God is dead!" It seems they have a Banksy of our own living in Burrowby. Who would have thought? And I like thinking of stories too. Stories? God is dead! Yes, bridges are small and the people buried underneath are turned into names and dates, nothing more. I think there must be more to these people than that, though. What were their parents like? Did they have any siblings? What was their job? Were they happy? What about all the people whom they met, whose lives they might have changed, without them even realizing it? I don't know about all those things. I never will. It's fascinating, but at the same time, it's a little sad. I blush, my hands hanging limply to my side. Did I say too much? I think I might have said too much. I blush, my hands hanging limply at my side. It's too much? I think I said too much. This is why I don't like to talk to people at school, other than Haiti. Because I'm weird. And I know my fellow classmates, Emily Hargreaves and Emily Turner included, would just laugh at me. Well, maybe Amelia wouldn't. Amelia's too nice to laugh at anybody. That's what I think anyway. It probably sounds stupid, though. No, I think you made some good points. I did? Yes, every person has a story, and there's not enough space on a single tombstone to tell it. The sad truth is, there are so many people in the world, it is not possible to remember every single detail. Every single story, as the years go by, they fall by their wayside. The dead people must always concede to the whims of the living, even in places like this. Emily looks back at Elijah or Alicia, Pharaoh's grave, decorated with the biting political commentary. God is dead! Then sighs. I like thinking of stories too, in fact. I could tell you a story of my own. I've been turning it over in my head for quite some time, and I would be intrigued to hear your response. I wouldn't mind. Are you quite sure? I don't want to bore you. I can't remember the last time anybody wanted to hear what I had to say. No, I'm quite sure. I would love to. There was something else I wanted to do here anyway. Nothing other than wander, trying to avoid thinking about school next Monday and how much trouble I'll be in when it's discovered I've been playing truant. I always run away from my problems. I have done it ever since I was a child, and I must have inherited that admirable trait from my dad. Well then, if you want to follow me. Emily turns, her hair fluttering, and slips through the graveyard like a shadow. I follow her, curious yet cautious, as she leads me behind the church. The trees are thicker, and there are even more graves. She draws my attention to the tombstone, just one tombstone of many. It juts out of the grass, the tooth of a gum, slightly crooked. A few cracks run down its dark grey side, and the top of the grave is fringed with pale yellow lichen. The name engraved on the tombstone is a little difficult to see, impressed in only shallowly, and I have to strain my eyes to read it through the fog. I did explore the graveyard of Lincolnshire to my youth for nothing, though, and I'm more skilled than most teenagers when it comes to reading scriptures and gravestones. Here lies the body of Philip Burns, 1807 to 1851. Also, Perdita Burns, wife of the above, 1811 to 1851. Also, Emmeline Burns, their beloved daughter, 1836 to 1851. May their souls rest in peace. I sit certainly uncomfortable. Graveyards don't usually make me uncomfortable, but there's something about this tombstone that strikes as discordant note within me. Something here just isn't right. Thank you, pasta with hydrate. I'm gonna stretch. They all died in the same year. They did indeed. And all on the same day too. I turn away from the grave. The final remnants of the unfortunate Burns family bite into my lower lip. Hello, Emily Burns. When I speak, my voice is barely a whisper, being quiet in the wind. How do you know that? It's just a story. I already told you that. I suppose so, but when Emily said it, it didn't sound like a story. It sounded deadly serious. She looked serious, too. Her eyes are narrowed, her lips pursed, her face stark white, as though carved in from stone. The fog swirls about us like a veil, like that, even thicker than it was earlier this morning. I can taste the fog at the back of my throat. When I inhale, and I cough it tastes cold, rank, and repulsive. The taste of death. Just who is Emily anyway? She doesn't look like any girl I know. She's an African girl, I know. I'm almost tempted to believe, but that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? So, should I tell you my story? I must warn you, though, it is rather dour. Then again, given our setting, what other kind of story could it be? I need to go dehydrate real quick. Be right back. Hi, you're welcome, mate. Hi. Water indeed. 3 streams. Look at you go. Water. I got a snack. I had more, but missed one. Oh no! Green onion. Soda crackers. Hmm. Tastes interesting. That's funny. Well, it's been, what the fuck, it's been an hour already, what the hell? What the fuck? An hour has passed. Whoa. What the hell? You should already know how it ends. Emmeline Burns, born in 1936, to Philip and Perdita Burns, led a charmed life. Her family was rather well to do. Her grandfather being a lawyer, her father a banker, and she grew up in a large house with 5 bedrooms on the outskirts of borrow by.
In a second, just doing something on the monitor real quick. Repositioning windows so I can see things good.
Given her father's profession, he was often away in London on business, but this did not upset Emmeline. She was old enough to understand that her father needed to work so they could afford a nice house. And the fine clothes, and the ribbons she wore in her hair, so she did not complain. Though she did not see her father for months at a time. When he returned home, it was always with a present for Emmeline, and a kiss on her cheek. It was as though he had never been away at all. Philip was a kind man, though he may not have been a paragon of many virtues. He's the runt of the litter. If he was a pig, he would have drowned him. She would have drowned him in the well. Grandmother, Patience, always griped. He was not naturally predisposed to the world of financing, but he did have a good head on his shoulders, and he was relatively intelligent. Not even Grandmother Patience could deny that. It was through his quick wit, rather than his majestic charisma, of which he was sorely lacking, that Philip had been able to expand upon the Burns family's fortune, and he had invested a good deal of their money into the stock market. Emmeline really did love her father, despite his lack of presence in her life, or maybe because of it. They do say, after all, that absence makes the heart grow fonder. Even when Philip was not at home, Emmeline had a great deal to busy herself with, and she was never bored or lonely. She would help her mother with her embroidery, or exchange idle gossip with the servants, or go for long walks through the countryside, eating blackberries from the hedgerows, and snagging her dress on bramble. Emmeline's long-suffering governess Helena Warrens certainly had her hands full when it came to disciplining her rowdy pupil. Though Emmeline was not intelligent, she had been born with the disposition of a sea captain or a polar explorer, and she was physically incapable of sitting still for 5 minutes. That is, unless she was with Cornelia Linton. Emmeline and Cornelia had known one another since they were both babies, and they were almost inseparable, and spent most of their waking hours together, sitting by the lakeside in Linton's private estate. They would stare out across the untouched waters, which carried, along with it, lily pads, reeds, and fish with shimmering scales, and they would talk, sipping raspberry lemonade. Even in Borroway, everyone in Dorby knew that the lake in Linton's estate belonged to Cornelia and Emmeline. They had claimed it through the countless hours they had whiled away by those grassy banks, feeding the fish, dipping their bare toes into the water. The lake was their private land, a secret garden everyone knew of, but nobody would intrude upon. And so it was that Emmeline and Cornelia spent the summer months together, basking under the sunlight. Wow, these people look really similar. I wonder why. Now, how is your embroidery coming along? Cornelia pouted, giving Emmeline a light shove in the shoulder. Oh, please, don't ask me about my embroidery. You know better than anybody how dreadful I am at it. I have no hand-eye coordination whatsoever. Emmeline giggled, returning Cornelia's shove with one of her own. I do not understand how you can be that terrible at sewing, Nellie. It is hardly a science. It may be simple for you, but it is not so for me. Engaging in an activity I have no talent for is incredibly disheartening, and I keep poking myself with the needle. Oh, let me see. What? No! Cornelia's pout deepened, and she held her hand behind her back, attempting to hide them. Why do you want to see my hands anyway? Do you want to gloat? Me? Gloat? I would never. I just want to see the wounds that have been done to you despite your best efforts, my dear Cornelia, so I may applaud you for your bravery. Forgive me for being so cynical, but I suspect you may be making fun of me. Of course I will forgive you. Of course I will forgive you. You cannot help but your cynicism, given your father fancies himself as a philosopher. It would run in your family. Indeed he does. Our library is full of Hegel and Kant. Hegel and Kant, though I doubt he understands it. Mother says he just wants to show off at dinner parties. How is he able to show off if he cannot understand the material he speaks of? It is nothing more than bluster. Mother says pretense is one of the key traits of a man can possess if he wishes to be successful in the world. My father is an earnest man. He would not lie with if his life depended on it, especially not about philosophy. And that is why my mother worries about you, Emmeline. She has said as much before. You need not concern yourself with my family. We may not be as rich as you, but what we lack in wealth, we make up for with a raw talent. Are you saying I have no talent? I am saying it is somewhat said that a 14-year-old girl such as yourself still cannot sew a single comforter.
More cracker time. Oh.
Hey! Cornelia, would let her guard slip, she pondered her father's ill-fated attempts to ingratiate himself with the intelligentsia of the age, tried to obscure her hands behind her back once more, but it was already too late. Well, what are you doing, Emmy? I'm examining your hands as I said I would. And oh dear. Emily tutted and shook her head. Her fingers lingered together with Cornelia's. They are such beautiful hands, with such smooth skin, yet they are marked all over with red dots. It appears as though you've not been used as a human pincushion. I already told you, Emmy. I have no skill when it comes to sewing. Why would you tease me so? I was not teasing you. I was honoring your efforts. That is a bald-faced lie. We both know it. If you had an ounce of respect for me, you would not be smiling like that. Like what? Like that! Now let go of me! But Emmeline did not. Instead, she continued to stand there, skirt fluttering about her legs, attempting to peer into Cornelia's grumpy little face with undisguised amusement. Look at them, they're gay! Emmy, I told you to let go! Why do you not listen to me? Because seeing you blush is so much fun, of course. Emmy! If Cornelia had to use both hands, perhaps she would have struck the top of Emmeline's head with her for insolence. As it was, as she did not. And all she could do was glare. Glare and blush. Cornelia blushed a lot. That was one of the downsides of having such fair skin. That, and when she poked herself with the sewing needle, as she was so prone to of doing, the red welts that resulted stood out sharply, starkly, against her milk complexion. Why are you acting so coy, Nellie? I know you enjoy my company, really. Be that as it may, you are behaving rather childishly. Right now, I have no desire to indulge your whims. Honestly, even if those whims are your own as well? Well... Camilla let her head hang, her face turning just a shade darker. This was not the first time that the two girls had held hands. They had been friends ever since they were small, and they were not unfamiliar with the sensation of the other's skin. In fact, they were more well versed in one another's bodies than one might have expected. Though their mothers would have scolded them for the unladylike manner with which they comported themselves when left alone by the lakeside, they would have been scandalized to learn of the other, more intimate actions that had taken place between the two girls. It had been a month or so ago when, drunk on the lazy heat of the encroaching summer, the two girls had slowly, lackadaisically, shared their first kiss. Not a kiss on the cheek or temple, as they had done during their babyhood, but a true kiss typically shared between adults of the opposite sex. Neither of them knew who had instigated the kiss, but why they had lingered for so long in such a manner, the lips pressed together, but both agreed after the fact that they had liked it. It had felt right. As such, without giving them these moments of intimacy too much thought, the two girls had continued to display their affection for one another in such a manner all through the summer of 1951. It may have been uncommon for two women to exchange their kisses and caresses, but what of it? Why should they not kiss one another if they wanted to? The lakeside was their own private haunt, their secret garden. Nothing would intrude upon them there, not even so-called common decency. That wasn't the question. Why should it be indecent? Emmeline did not understand. She loved Cornelia, and Cornelia loved her. And was that not enough? Even if it was not enough for the rest of the world, it was more than enough for her. You know, you really are beautiful. Do you honestly think so? Of course. I thought so from the moment I was old enough to understand what beauty is. You are one of the loveliest people I've ever seen. Is that why you like me then? Because you think I'm pretty? We humans are fickle beings. Isn't your father proof enough of that? How cruel, Emmy! If you're only kissing me because you think I'm pretty, then perhaps I should reevaluate the nature of our relationship. You're nothing more than a rake. You're even worse than that awful Wedgwood boy. You can compare me to Aubrey. You would compare me to Aubrey Wedgwood, my dear Cornelia. I am wounded. I am nothing like that boorish fop. Well, I wonder what he can be awfully insistent too. It's not fitting of a young man. Of course it's not fitting. Did you know he even deigned to take my hand during my mamma's garden party last week? My mamma's garden party last week. Honestly? Indeed. I would have slapped at him, Nelly, had his mother not happened it upon us. Did she scold him? Lady Wedgwood? Of course not. Emmeline spat on the ground and did not even have the courtesy of wipe her mouth with a handkerchief afterward. Under normal circumstances, Cornelia would have scolded Emmeline, but on this score she relented. Nothing about Aubrey Wedgwood often made her want to spit too. She dotes on that spoiled son of hers. Why, she probably believes him to be the second coming of Christ, though he flirts with every single woman in the village, too old or young. You see, Nelly, I am nothing like Aubrey. I would rather die than become a rover like him. My feelings for you, my dear Cornelia, are molded from a different cast. You have captured my heart with your ephemeral beauty, and now mine eyes can wander no further. You're my sweet red rose, newly sprung in June. Well, Cornelia, flustered though she was by Emmeline's teasing, had enough wits about her to recognize that line. Are you quoting poetry now, Emmy? Indeed. Did you know that my love is like the melody, sweetly played in time? Don't be an idiot. If you wished to serenade me, you could at least write a poem of your own. But I know you appreciate it really. In all honesty, I think you're being rather foolish. I can't help myself, though. I really do love you, Cornelia. I love you so. Sometimes I fear I may go mad. What do you know of madness? I know when you are not by my side, I miss you horribly. I find myself counting down the minutes, no, the very seconds, until we may be in one another's company once more. Ah, well, I appreciate your feelings, Emmy. I love you too. Like a singing bird, Emily and Cornelia confess their love. Wow. Look at them go. Look at these bitches gay. These bitches gay. Good for them. Good for them. These bitches gay. I talk to my gamer subs cup. Lol. Your Honor, they're gay. They're gay and European, and neither is a disgrace. Is she gay or European? It's hard to guarantee. You don't get this. You don't fully get this unless you've witnessed Legally Blonde, the musical. She's gay and European, and neither is a disgrace. I don't know the lyrics of this verse. You gotta stop being a complete and closet case. Complete and closet case. See, they raise the gods up differently. It's hard to guarantee. Oh my god, gay and European? Yes! They're gay and European. If only Emmeline and Cornelia would have continued to spend their time together in so sweet a manner, smiling and laughing, or else bickering pointlessly and making one another pout, yet always parting with words of love and kisses, stolen beneath the warm summer sun. Unfortunately, such moments cannot last forever. The splendors of the summer soon faded. The leaves began to turn brown, and the wind gained a sharp edge that made Emmeline shiver. It was also in the autumn months that Philip Burns returned home for the first time in half a year. This reunion, however, was not quite as happy as the previous ones had been. Philip Burns has always been a small man, yet he seems even smaller during this biting cold September. He stopped more than usual. Even more than usual. When he entered rooms, if he entered them at all. For he had now developed a habit of lingering, ghost-like, about the threshold of his own home, as though afraid of stepping inside. It was almost as though, during his 6 months' sojourn in London, he had lost something crucial to his constitution, his sense of self, or else his soul. Philip's feet were so planted firmly upon the earth, but he was divorced from the world around him. He drifted about aimlessly, like a somnambulist, yet was restless within his dream world, incapable of sitting still for more than 5 minutes at a time. He looked at things without seeing them, ate food without tasting it, held objects without touching them. Once he tried to pick up his glass during dinner, he used it so little force it slipped between his fingers, smashing into pieces against the floor. Even when he spoke to Emmeline, it was without any real feeling, like he was reciting words from a play script, and Philip Burns had never been a good actor. He was unlike Cornelia's father, who had so much huff and puff he could have blown down even the brick home built by the most industrious of 3 little pigs. Philip Burns was far too honest, and that was the worst thing. It was because he was an honest man that Emmeline knew, though he tried to keep the truth from her. Something was wrong. Something was terribly wrong. But she did not know that. Did not know what. Oh, you're right, Emmy. Emmeline blinked, brushing a few strands of hair out of her face, and turned. Why do you ask? Was my face contorted in a curious manner? I suppose you could say that. You've been acting rather more despondent than usual, that it is all. A cat-like smile crossed Emmeline's lips. She bent forward until her nose was only inches apart from her companion's, and said in hushed tones, "Are you worried about me, Nellie?" I was worried about you, but I shall not worry any longer if you insist upon acting like that. Emmeline only giggled, unmoved by Cornelia's protestation, and rearranged her hair. Seeing you blush always cheers me up, my dear Cornelia. So you admit that you were feeling unhappy earlier? Just a touch. I cannot help myself. Not when father has been acting in such a peculiar manner. He shambles about the house like an animated corpse, like the misunderstood creature from Mr. Shelley's novel. Mr. Shelley? I thought the author of Frankenstein was Miss Shelley, not her husband. Oh, I'm unsure of the details, Nellie. Mother says a woman could not have written such a twisted tale, and I do not know what I should believe. In any event, it does not particularly matter. Probably not, no. Emily ran a hand through her auburn curls. At least she tried to. She soon found that her bonnet got in the way of this gesture. She untied the ribbon beneath her chin and removed the offended garment. She let her bonnet sit on her lap, as a mother might with a newly born babe, and played with the light green ribbon, twisting it about the wrist of her right arm. The sensation of the soft, smooth material against her skin was comforting, like a caress. To be quite honest, I have been rather concerned about father. Just this morning, he missed a stair during his descent into the hallway and sprained at his ankle. Could have broken his leg. But he did not. No, he did not. He does look rather undignified now, though limping everywhere like an invalid. Oh, Emmy. Emmeline shifted, still playing with the ribbon in her bonnet. The look on Cornelia's face was too sombre for a playful forest spirit such as herself, and it was unsettling. She did not want to think about her father. She had retreated to Linton State despite the protestation of Miss Warren. You have not finished your history lesson, Emmeline. I doubt you could tell Queen Elizabeth apart from a hole in the ground, so she could avoid thinking about her father. This is rather new to Emmeline. She'd always loved being with her father. Now, however, she found herself seeking any recourse available to avoid him. Seeing him like this, so small and sad, shuffling about his home like a repentant sinner, was too painful. When you return home, would you give your father my regards? Mother's awfully concerned about him, and you too, Emmeline. Beatrice Linton would be concerned. She's always loved it, poking her nose at other people's business. She is not doing it because she enjoys idle gossip.
You should know better than anybody that my mother despises that kind of behavior. She believes it to be most unpleasant. She could not help but feel worried, given what she has read in the paper lately. Your family has a great deal invested in the East Anglian railways, do they not?
Don't talk to me at all about business, Nelly. I can't understand it at all.
I am sure you could if you tried. You have just been raised to believe that you should not bother.
Gosh. You sound more and more like my mother every day. Emmeline exclaimed, tightening the ribbon on her bonnet about her wrist, so much so it started to hurt. Though the material was soft and intended to be wear by a young woman with silken skin who would never work it a day in their privileged little lives, it chafed when she wound it as such around her wrist. It was strange, Emmeline mused, how something so innocuous as a ribbon could cause harm when it was used with malicious intent. This world was more dangerous than she had even truly given it credit for. Even the lake which she had often gazed upon with Cornelia could be hiding some sinister secrets within its depths. I apologize, Nelly. I don't mean to snap at you. I have been rather highly strung as of late. It must be because of the atmosphere at home.
Do not fret, Emmy. I understand.
You do?
Not entirely, but I will try to. I do care about you, after all.
Thank you, Nelly. The two girls looked at one another, unusually shy, hesitant, their faces lightly flushed. Then, with a tut, Cornelia leant forward, brushing the tip of her fingers against Emmeline's wrist.
You should not do that.
What?
Fiddle with your bonnet like that.
Because it is unbecoming of a lady.
Because you're hurting yourself. Your poor hand has gone white. The blood cannot flow through your body properly if you impede it like that.
And my hands, by contrast, still appear to be red, Nelly. Emmeline giggled and began to unwind the ribbon from about her wrist. Are you still yet to master the sacred art of the cross-stitch?
That is neither here nor there. I am trying to comfort you, Emmeline.
You have been doing a wonderful job. Gazing upon your many imperfections always cheers me up. Cheers me.
You are so cruel, Emmeline. Sometimes I feel like you don't truly love me. You just love toying with me.
Now, where did you get such a silly idea like that? Emmeline smiled, with a touch of less sarcasm than before, and leaned forward. Then moving quickly, as a kittiwake might pluck a fish out of the water, she pressed a chaste kiss against the corner of Cornelia's lips. I love you more than ever. Nothing could quell my feelings for you, not a raging storm or a howling wind. Cornelia pressed one hand against her cheek gingerly, spot where Amelia had kissed it
her tingled. It felt much like being poked with a sewing needle, a sensation Cornelia was depressingly familiar with, yet it was not unpleasant. Your blushes truly are beautiful, Cornelia. They would even undo the roses of the mildest of summer. It makes me wish I could kiss you every single second of the day, if it would always elicit such a lovely response. I do not think my heart would be able to cope with such a constant slew of affection. You would kill me, Emmy. And what better way would there be to die than to be kissed fervorously by a girl you like? And with a light giggle, even breezier than the coastal air, Emmeline pressed another kiss against the side of Cornelia's mouth. You know you could ask for my permission before you do that. I am not quite as hungry for affection as you are. So you say, but you do not offer so much resistance. That sounds like something Aubrey would say. Never. I would not seek to compare myself with that cur again, would you? I'm simply saying that what I see. You claim to dislike Aubrey, but you grow more and more like him with every passing day. It's a lie! Libel, slander. Take it back. No. Take it back, I said. I refuse. Well, I insist. If you want me to change my mind, you will have to insist harder than that. Alright then, how is this? With a devilish glint in her eyes, which would have been evident enough for only a couple of centuries past to try her as a witch. Emmeline shifted forward and began a merciless assault. Not even William of Normandy, as he drove back the armies of Harold Godwinson, during the Battle of Hastings, could have conceived such brutality. Emmy, stop that! Cornelia kicked it and squealed, pushed it back against the ground by Amelia's sudden siege, but it was no avail. Emmeline had the element of surprise on her side, and she had taken a clear advantage. Emily blinked up at Cornelia, blinked up at Emmeline, squirming like a hooked fish, as Emmeline sat astride, skirt rocket up her thigh, her fingers trailing lines across Cornelia's prone body, beneath her chin, under her arms, against her sides. Was there any tactic more vicious than, more wicked, more devious, than that of tickling? And this was not just any tickling, oh no! This was extreme tickling that would surely end in bloodshed. Emmy, stop! Get off me! Cornelia implored, breathlessly choking the words from between her pursed lips, but the indomitable Emmeline remained unmoved. I will not until you relent to what you said. That you are like Aubrey? Indeed, and it to be nothing more than a lie, and I may spare your life.
Whoops.
No, never. I stand by my word, and I will stand by my actions. I won't stop until you surrender, Nellie. But I warned you, I can be very persuasive when I want to be. Her eyes hardening with the steel of sword blades, Emmeline dipped her head and began to press against Cornelia's back. Cornelia's dress began to slip down her shoulders, and there was a good deal of pale pink skin on show, more than would have been deemed socially acceptable. Ah, you rogue! You wouldn't dare attack a helpless young girl.
Second, I need to save first of all. You're back real quick. Thank you, Possum. You know, be back real quick. I'm back, huh? I'm back. And I'm a country. You've broke. You would attack a helpless young girl? Only because this helpless young— My water's in the kitchen still. My water's in the kitchen still. Whoopsies. I'm gonna go grab that real quick. I got me water again. I got me water again. Hello. Only because this helpless young girl is something to defile my honor. So you would seek to defile me? Ayo, 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 lesbian defilement. I mean, what? Ayo. But I'm looking for— oh, there it is. I'm blind. Found it. Well, I wonder. Cornelia squealed as though she had been doused in water and redoubled her efforts to escape, but it was all in vain. The two girls continued to bicker playfully, giggling even as the warmth of the sun began to dissipate, and an autumn chill settled into the air. At that moment, as the day drew to a close, the two girls may truly have believed, with their rumpled clothes and disordered hair and flustered cheeks, that this could last forever. Oh no, it's doomed Yuri. It's doomed Yuri. Oh no. Emmeline was dreaming, though she was not sure what it was exactly she was dreaming of. Her dreams were mostly comprised of vague shapes and distorted sounds, as though she were viewing her own fancy land, lands from behind frozen glass, or through a fine film of water. Doomed Yuri. It's doomed Yuri. Doomed to a tragedy. To die it not die it together. Sometimes, however, she dreamt of Cornelia. She always knew when she had dreamt of Cornelia, because when she awoke, it was with a silly smile on her face and a soft flush across her cheeks. This was how she had realized she was in love. She was always thinking of Cornelia, even during the rare occasions when Cornelia was not beside her. Though Emmeline was only 14, she did not fully understand what love was. What is love? Please don't hurt me, don't mean it no more. She did not need to. Why trouble herself over the intricacies of the four-letter word, when she could instead be doing things that made her happy? Those things being chiefly talking to Cornelia, braiding her hair, making her blush, and kissing her lips, her cheeks, her eyelids. Emmeline was not particularly picky. On this particular night, however, Emily did not wake to find sunlight streaming in the window, half-formed remembrance of her love flitting through her mind. She did not awake during the morning at all. It must have been late at night, because it was pitch black in her bedroom, that she could not hear any birds. It was earlier than 5. Then she assumed that she had no way of knowing if this was correct or not. It was so dark in her room, she could not see the clock that hung on her wall, though she could hear its ticking. The first point she was aware of, other than
the obsessive darkness was that it was cold. The chill of winter was well and truly setting in, especially during the night. She could no longer sleep with bare arms and a light covered, as she had done before. Her summer sleepwear had been packed away at the back of her wardrobe, as the maids now set her winter nightgown on her bed before she went to bed, complete with puffed sleeves and high collars. The second thing when Emmeline noticed it, as her eyes slowly grew accustomed to the dark, was that she was not alone. There was somebody else in the room with her. It was none other than her father, Philip. Emmeline stared at her father with wide eyes. He looked back at her, and Emmeline could tell, despite the dark, that he was just as surprised, if not more, than she was. Had his face always looked so lined, his mouth so dry? Perhaps the shadows were playing tricks on her eyes, but he looked far older than his 44 years. Emmeline swallowed. All of a sudden, her throat felt dry. Father, is something wrong?
Nothing is wrong, Emmy. Nothing at all.
But he did not look at her face. He stuttered when he spoke it. Why did he sound so frightened? Had something bad happened? Emmeline could not think of any other reason why he would be in her room at such an odd hour, looking so very tired. No, tired did not begin to describe it. He looked haggard, as though on the brink of death. His hands would not stop shaking, even when he clenched them into fists. Emmeline sat up in bed, the covers falling about her body like a funeral shroud, and looked at her father with concern. It isn't Mother, is it? Is she sick?
Your mother? She's fine, Emmy. She should be asleep right now.
Oh. A pause. And why are you not asleep, Father? Could you not?
No, there is something I have to do.
At this hour?
Yes, it is. Hmming! It is of utmost importance. I can't imagine you would understand.
Emmeline flinched. Her father's voice was strangely hard, despite the nervous stammering, and she was not used to him talking to her in such a way.
Ship Mom, howdy, hi, it's me, your Ship Mom. It's Ship Mom, hi, it's your Ship Mom.
Maybe other girls' father spoke in such clipped terms. Cornelia's father sometimes did. When Beatrice wasn't there to chastise him. But not her father. Not Philip Burns. There was no warmth in his voice, no tenderness. It was as though he was speaking to a stranger, rather than his dear daughter, his priceless jewel, his lovely little Emmeline. I may not understand what it is that you wish to do, Father, but are you sure I cannot help?
No. Nobody can help. Nobody can.
But
I appreciate the offer, Emmy, but it is far too late.
her father swallowed. Emmeline could hear it. It sounded painful, as though he were attempting to choke down a lead bullet or a piece of steel shrapnel. I don't understand. If you don't believe I can help you, Why did you come to my room? What is it you wish to discuss with me, father?
There. Oh God.
Philip's shoulders shook. It sounded like he was trying to stem a flow of upcoming tears, though he was not entirely successful.
Whenever Kaizen's done his duty, is when we'll do it. We're all waiting on, everything is always waiting on Kaizen. Let's be honest, man. We wait on Kaizen to finish his duty, and then we set off. And I got some mods working, so that's exciting. We're gonna be doing that, and we're gonna do that later.
He bit down on his lower lip, but moisture still sparkled in the corners of his eyes, threatening to spill down his cheeks like April rain. It's actually April today. Wow. His grandmother, Patience, were here. If grandmother Patience were here, she would have mocked him. She always had done when Philip was a child.
Okay. Okay, good luck, Ming. Bye!
Perhaps that was why Philip never visited grandmother Patience. She made him feel like a young boy again, small, stupid, and utterly insignificant.
Yes, we are at the mercy of Sushi Neko.
It was why Philip had gone into banking, though he was not suited for such a cutthroat industry.
Okay, good luck, Ming. Have fun doing that later tonight. I'll be there.
He didn't have the knack for it. Never had done. Grandmother Patience had said as much, but he was determined to prove her wrong. He wanted, for once in his life, to make her proud. And look what that had cost him. His wealth, his reputation, and now, worst of all, his family, too. But there was no going back now. Father? Father, are you alright? What's wrong?
Emmeline. Oh, Emmeline. Emmy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried to be a good father, Emmy. I really did try. I wanted to be kind. I wanted to be fair. I had no intention of treating you like my parents treated me, but I wasn't capable of doing it. In the end, it all went wrong. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was succeeding. And for a while, maybe I was. Now I realize that it was a foolish fantasy, dreamt by a foolish man. My mother was right. I should have been drowned when I was younger. It would have saved you oh so much trouble. It would have made everything so much easier.
Father?
Emmeline got to her feet, her bare toes curling against the wood floorboards, and took a few steps forward.
Are you not feeling well? We can call for a physician if you would like. If only you would sit down. Look how much you are trembling.
No.
Philip shook his head, mechanically, back and forth like a tin soldier, his words spoken in an unfazed fervor.
The physicians cannot help now. Nothing can help. We're done for Emmeline. You, and I, and your mother too. This is it. This is the end.
The end of what exactly?
Our money is gone, Emmeline. I made a terrible mistake. You know, everything is gone. The bubble bursted. We lost it all. Every single thing.
Emmeline stared at her father, her mouth open. She did not know what to do, what to say. What could she say? She was only 15 years old, and she had always been told by her mother that women had no place in the world of business. It was only natural when they could not understand facts and figures or tables of numbers. Beatrice Linton was the exception rather than the rule. Beatrice Linton could do anything. She could have possibly wrestled a bear to death with her own 2 hands if she needed to be, but Emmeline could not. She was only a young girl, standing in a bedroom, in her winter nightgown, shivering like a leaf, and she did not know what to do. But she did not need to ponder her own powerlessness for much longer.
I'm sorry, Emmy. I'm so sorry. I let you down. And now this is the only thing I could do to make amends.
Father, what did you...
But Emily was not able to finish.
Emmeline was not able to finish her question. That's because, at that moment, Philip Burns closed the distance between them and held his hand around her daughter's throat. His fingers dug into her skin, and Emmeline could not breathe. Yeah, at first it was a shock that drew the air out of her lungs, but then it was the pressure about her throat, choking her. Strangling her is the proper term, actually. You could hardly believe it. She could hardly believe it. How could her father, who had never raised a hand in her life, who had never raised it so much as his voice, even contemplate carrying out such a hideous action? But he was. He really was going to kill her. Emmeline felt herself growing faint. She wondered, idly, if dark purple bruises would be left around her throat when Philip let go. A fairy circle made of mushrooms. Her head swam, her legs gave way beneath her, and she fell backwards onto her bed. Still, Philip's fingers did not budge. They remained upon her throat, fixated with the gruesome task they'd been charged with. It was almost as though Philip Burns had split in two. One half remained focused on the murder of his dear daughter, his beloved Emmy, while the other, appalled by his actions, looked away with disgust. Maybe he should have poisoned her nightly mug of hot cocoa instead. Then he wouldn't have had to bear witness to the look on her face as a life was slowly choked out of her tiny body.
I'm sorry, Emmy. I'm so sorry.
And he was too. His cheeks were wet with tears, and more tears kept falling. Some of them splashed against Emmeline's cheek, but this offering of remorse made little difference. Emmeline was still dying. She had been dying for around 2 minutes now, though it felt like it had been far longer. And her heart was already starting to stammer inside her chest.
I'm doing it for you, Emmy. It's for the greater good, I promise. I cannot stand the thought of my little girl going to the workhouse. I just couldn't.
But Philip did not know what else to say. He doubted he made much of a difference. Emmeline stared up at the ceiling blankly. Her eyes a vast sea of white, her mouth hanging open, her arms, legs were limp, and though her body was warm, it did not move. It could not. Philip removed his hands from Emmeline's throat, but Emmeline did not stir. Her eyes remained open, unfixed, misty as death.
Emmy. Oh, my Emmy. My little Emmy.
With a choked sob, Philip pulled his dear little girl, who was now very dead, was now a very dead little girl, into his arms and wept. After that, Philip Burns killed himself. He set the house ablaze, then slit his throat with a knife. Torching the house may seem like something of a waste, but if he had not, he would not have been buried with his wife and child. He had to make it look like an accident. Of course, Emmeline was not there to witness that, but she found out in due time. And that is the end of the sad story of Emmeline Burns. That is the end of the sad story of Emmeline Burns.
I, rest in peace, Toma learns about Emmeline's past. I open and close my mouth, but no sound comes out. I don't know what to say. I had already suspected its vague speculations about her being an internet celebrity side, but I had no idea, no doubts left in my mind after hearing Emily's story. This girl is no Emily. I knew she wasn't Emily from the moment she introduced herself. Emmeline holds one hand to her throat, rubbing it gently, as though nursing a cold.
I wish he had not choked me. I imagined he did it because he thought it would be less violent than stabbing me, but it took so long to die. 3 whole minutes. Most of all, I could still think during that time. I could give, I could grieve, I could suffer. It gave me enough time to form regrets. Maybe that is why I could not die properly.
Emmeline sighs, resting a hand against the top of her own gravestone. Unlike the ghosts in the films, her hand doesn't pass through it. Instead, her fingers make contact, firm and solid. I even see her shiver when the coldness of the stone permeates her pale skin.
Maybe Grandmother Patience was right. Father does not have the willpower required to see things through to the end. Not even murder. I suppose I should congratulate him for trying, though. He really did try. It hurt horribly.
I open my mouth once more, but I don't know what to say. How can I reply to that? What must it have felt like being betrayed so dearly by your own dad? I don't know, because I don't have one of my own. Of course, it isn't true in the strictness sense of the word. I am not a product of divine conception, and a human man did have a hand in my existence. I don't feel like I had dad, though. Mum never talks about him, and I never thought to ask. I knew Mum didn't like thinking about Saul Andrews, or that girl, as she calls him when she is in a charitable mood. She calls him far worse when she is not. And I don't like thinking about him either. I don't have much to think about anyway. I never met him before. I'd never seen his face in photographs, and Mum threw most of those away. I can't say I blame her, given how he reacted to the news of her pregnancy. apparently, he tried to coerce her into getting an abortion, and when it didn't work, he turned tail and fled. Didn't even know it. What a git. I always thought I should hate Saul, but I don't even know him well enough for that. Instead, all I feel is an absence of feeling, really. Apathy. Now, I can't help but wonder who has it worse, even though I know making such a comparison is unfair. Is it Emmeline, whose dad loved her dearly, to such an extent it wrung the life right out of her lungs? Or is it me, whose dad loved me a little, so little, he ran away before I was born, and never tried to talk to me? They're both bad in their own rights. If my mum had bowed to Saul Andrew's wishes, I would be dead too. In fact, the fact remains, however, that I am not. Emily, meanwhile, is... Do you resent him?
I do not know. I've had a lot of time to think about it, but I still can't come to a conclusion. Trying to describe it with such words would seem inadequate, somehow, but I am upset. I wish it never happened. I knew father thought he had to do it, and I'm sure it took him a good deal of thought before he was able to even consider killing me and my mother. He was not a violent person, I know it might sound cliched, but he did not even like killing moths or spiders. And yet, a person like him, spineless, grandmother patient said, was still able to murder his wife and child, then slit his own throat. Our financial situation must have been bad if he thought this was the only way he could save us. I don't confess to fully understand it myself, but there must have been a reason for his actions. Men, even the most hard-headed men, do not murder their wives and daughters on sudden whims or whispers from fairies. He must have been in a difficult position. See, I feel more sympathy, but at the same time, I think it's just unfair. He never asked me what I wanted, and I certainly did not want to be dead. I wanted to stay alive. There's so many more things I wanted to do. I don't know what things I wanted to do, not exactly. I had my whole life ahead of me. I thought I could think about it later. I thought I could have enough time. But I was naive. I just wanted to spend more time with Cornelia. Even though I was young, I did not understand a great deal about the world around me. I know that I loved her. I loved her with all of my heart. And then my father killed me. And that was the end of that. At least I should have been. I should have stopped laughing at the moment my heart started beating. But things aren't always so simple.
Do you know what happened to Cornelia?
She was upset after I died, I think. She cried a lot, and she grew older, and was able to put what happened Find her. She'll be dead now. She must have been dead for years and years.
Emmeline smiled spiritually.
Although as long as I have. Almost as long as I have.
You didn't try to talk to her?
I did, but she could not see me. I tried my hardest, but it all felt so pointless. I could see her face, but I could not dry her eyes. I wanted to tell her I was all right. As all right as a dead girl can be, anyway. But there was nothing I could do. In the end, I decided to leave her alone. She'd move it on, and I knew I should too. Mother Cornelia did not make me happy, and it definitely did not make me happy. Make her happy, make me happy. I had no idea this graveyard is almost a cemetery. I've not left this graveyard in almost a century. There has been no reason to leave. I just stayed here and slept. A century might seem like a long time, but it slipped by rather quickly. Nobody could see me, so nobody bothered talking. Bothered me.
Yes, right, thank you.
At least until today. You're the first person I've met during the last 150 years who can see me. It is most peculiar.
Well, I'm quite a peculiar person. I have always liked graveyards.
Ah, yes. You showed me that earlier. I remember it.
You don't think I'm weird, do you?
Perhaps a little, but I'm rather happy about it. If you were not weird, as you said, you would not be able to see me, and I would still be alone.
This might not be because of me, though.
What do you mean? You can see me with your own two eyes, correct? You have not been stolen. You have not stolen anybody else's, have you?
No, of course not.
It's just, I owe my life to the person who came before me.
Maybe these eyes were a gift from Rose Bradford.
Rose?
She's one of my ancestors, apparently. She was a medium. That's what Mother says, anyway. Yet, if these eyes are a gift from Rose Bradford, the self-proclaimed White Witch of Beverly, they haven't been of much use until now. I've never seen a ghost before, even though I've been to countless graveyards in my time. I have, however, always been strangely adept in the art of finding dead bodies, even when they're buried beneath the earth. Does this mean something? Anything? Nothing at all? You know, the whole world is crawling with ghosts, thicker than the fog that creeps across the ground, and they have never wanted to make my humble acquaintance. Perhaps they are hiding from me, sitting in the branches of trees, or peeking out from behind the stained glass church windows, whispering to themselves. Why would they approach me for help anyway? I'm only a young girl, only 14. But Emmeline did. Was there a reason for that? Now that I think about it, the her you said I resembled.
Oh, yes, well, you really do look like Cornelia. It took me quite by surprise. For a few moments, I thought you might really be her. But that was wrong of me. Wrong, of course. You're not Cornelia. You are your own person, Verity.
Oh, no. My name isn't Verity. We both know that. And I don't know if I am my own person either. How could I be, given my name, Toma, a diminutive from Thomas? Picked because my real name was stolen 2 weeks before I was born. Andrews. A last name given to me by my dad. Not as a gift, but as an afterthought. Like a bold pair of socks for Christmas. My name was defined by men I've never met before. A dead grandfather, an absent father. It doesn't belong to me. Nothing belongs to me. At the moment, I'm nothing more than a composite of old names. Long lost ancestors. Bradfords. Browers. Kendalls. Lintons and... Wait a minute, Linton? Where the fuck, Linton? Emmeline, can I ask you something?
Of course. Nothing would make me happier.
I haven't had much of a chance to talk to others over the last century. I swallow. My lips feel cracked and dry. My fingertips twitch. Cornelia's last name. What was it?
Why, it was Linton. It has been such a long time since I last saw her, but I would never forget that.
Linton. What was it? Cornelia Linton. It could be a coincidence, of course, but I don't know if I believe in coincidences. After all, everything that's happened today. That was the reason why Emily approached her. She thought I was Cornelia. Maybe in a sense, I am. Or at least, a small part of her. It is with this sudden realization that I feel a light dawn upon me. It's not a real light. The sun remains firmly, stubbornly hidden behind the clouds. But it is a light, nonetheless. It is sudden. It is a sudden understanding. A whole wealth of memories, a treasure chest of moments shared by the Lintons' lake of girlish laughter and raspberry lemonade, and kisses that taste of carbonation that I should no longer have no knowledge of. These scenes should be sepia tainted, like old photographs found in the back of a charity store for years gone well and truly by. I've never even been kissed before. How would I know what that felt like? But I can imagine it. In fact, I don't need to imagine, because it really happened. It really did happen. Not to the current me, but to one of my relatives in another time, in a place not so far away. Cornelia? Emmeline stares at me. Or is it me? With wide eyes, hardly daring to believe. I can't entirely believe it either. My body is still mine, but it's not at the same time. I can sense another presence residing inside me. Blown in by the cold autumn breeze, it lingers hazy, ephemeral, trying to make itself known, but desperate to speak. I feel my heart pounding, but the sensation is strangely unfamiliar. My fingertips tremble. Or are they hers? I open my mouth to speak, but another person's voice comes out. Emmy, is it really you? Cornelia, Emmeline presses a hand against her mouth, trying to stifle a gasp of disbelief. Wasn't that unnecessary? How can a ghost breathe? The air was choked out of her lungs a long time ago. But now, more than 100 years after her death, Emmeline has a long new reason to be breathing, breathless. I thought you had already passed on, even after you died. You died. I was never able to find you. At any rate, your body was even buried here. That's right. I was buried where I died in Shire. I was 73. And you died peacefully? Yes. I'm not a ghost. I had no regrets, so I had no reason to come back. And yet, right now, you... Well, this is rather unexpected, to tell you the truth. I'd been resting peacefully, minding my own business, when, all of a sudden, I found myself here, inside this body. It must have been years since I looked so young. I must apologize to the young girl whose body I have stolen. It is awfully rude, and it wasn't intentional. Don't worry about it, Cornelia. I'm sure Verity won't mind. Verity? That's strange. I didn't think that was her name. At any rate, I must thank Miss Verity for her kindness. Sharing one's identity with someone else is quite a gesture. It might be to other people, but it isn't to me. I already know what it feels like to share my identity with somebody else. I haven't lived my whole life in Amelia Miller's chateau. Compared to that, a little light possession is nothing. Wow! This outfit is hardly appropriate, though. Cornelia flushes, tugging at the hem of my school skirt. There's rather too much leg on display. And what of the wind? I'm surprised girls of today don't all catch their deaths of cold. You sound like a cockney old lady, Cornelia. I am an old lady, and you are too. Stop trying to act cute. Emmeline giggles, peering up at Cornelia with that familiar mischievous grin. The same grin she wore 150 years ago, during the lazy summer days of my friends playing grounded by the lake, when she would press kisses against Cornelia's lips and recite snatches of misremembered poetry to her. But
so blushed like a fair maiden. I'm looking at achievements. Lol.
Okay. I have...
But so blush. But so blush like a fair maiden, Cornelia. You didn't change at all.
And neither did you, Emmy. Though I hope it, you might. That attitude of yours was always so unseemly. Mother, indeed. Mother agreed.
Beatrice Linton wouldn't know what fun was if it smacked her across the face.
My mother was a very commendable person. She might have been a little strict, but she was not without her good points. She was awfully upset when she heard what had happened to you, Emmy.
Yes. What happened to poor little Emmy? And you, Cornelia? Did you miss me too?
Do you really need to ask that question?
I just want to make sure. I know that you cried a good deal, and that upset me, but I don't know. I wanted to move on and be happy. I really, truly did, but at the same time, I was always scared and jealous too. You really were my first love. I suppose you were my last love too, and all the loves that could have come in between. I just don't want to be replaced. You are my one and only, and I want it to be the same for you. I know you live it a lot longer than I did, and I know I'm being selfish, but when I think about you loving somebody else other than me, it hurts. It hurts so much. I can hardly stand it.
Emmy? Emmeline's shoulders shake, and though her eyes was devoid of tears, maybe crying is a luxury not afforded of the ghosts, I'm sure she would be weeping if she could. She looked fragile, like a single push might shatter every single bone in her body. Is that why she avoided Cornelia? Though she desperately wanted to see how she was? Was it because she was afraid? But she can't run away now. Not anymore. Cornelia takes a few steps forward, slow and stumbling in her unfamiliar body. When she reaches Emmeline, she links their hands and squeezes gently. Emily giggles, wiping stray tears that never even had a chance to fall from her corners of her eyes.
Well, this is certainly new. You would never have been so bold in the past, Nellie.
Perhaps not, but I have grown up. I lived a long life.
73 years, was it?
A nod.
73 years. It is an awfully long time to remain obsessed with a skinny young girl who snuck kisses from you in the summer, is it not?
Indeed. It is an awfully long time. And yet despite that, I was never able to forget you. It would be impossible, even if I wanted it to. Cornelia bows her hand, perhaps in an attempt to hide her threatening blush. But it does no good. She always used to blush around Amelia, and that hasn't changed. Kiss, 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 kiss. What the fuck? I got married when I was 18. It was a match my mother arranged. She was always so officious, so organized, so practical. I wonder why your father did not ask her for advice during the stock market crash. She could have helped it.
I think he would have been too embarrassed. It was all Grandmother Patience's fault. She was not a particularly nice woman, by all accounts.
That really is sad.
It could have been avoided so easily. That is what I think, too. Such thoughts do not do us much good now, though.
No, I suppose they do not.
So, what about your bow?
Emmeline attempts to smile, though it looks forced, simply strained at the edges.
Was he a good looker, Cornelia? Did he sweep you off your feet, just like a prince of a fairy tale?
Of course not. He was a match my mother chose for me. Do you think she would pair her dear daughter with a feckless sot?
So, he was sensible, was he?
Very sensible. He was twice my age, and he was already starting to lose his hair. But he was rich, and had land, and could afford to look after me. To my mother, that was the most important thing.
And your happiness?
According to my mother, money is the root of all happiness.
I would like to disagree, but...
Emmeline looks down at herself, smiling sadly.
Given money can be blamed for the sorry state of affairs my family found themselves in, perhaps there is a germ of truth to that.
Perhaps. And I was happy with him in a sense.
You loved him?
No, I did not love him. He was too old and we were too dissimilar. We did not have a single thing in common. Fortunately, he is not an unkind, and that is more than can be said for some men, I suppose.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cornelia.
You do not need to be sorry. I may not have been happy, but I was not unhappy. My life was rather comfortable, all things considered.
But did you not forget about me?
No, I did not. I could not. You really did mean the world to me back then, Emmy. And I loved you with all my heart.
Only back then?
Well, even now, I still care for you. I never stop caring. I just have to stop remembering.
Oh, Cornelia, if my heart had not stopped, I'm sure it would have skipped a beat.
And my own heart is pounding rather uncomfortably, though it does not truly belong to me. I hope I am not causing this young girl any undue strain.
You always did worry too much, Nellie. You use it to be so scared of your mother would find out about us. You still let me kiss you, though.
Yes, I was scared, but I am glad for the time we spent together. Had I known it would be cut short, I would have confessed it to you sooner.
Say, Cornelia.
Yes? What is it?
I'm afraid I must ask, for curiosity compels me to do so. Was I a better kisser than your husband?
Oh no! It would be a shame if this body died and we were undead girlfriends together. Tucks hair behind ear. Oh no!
Well, It's fine if you cannot answer. I was quite some time since we last kissed one another. Perhaps you need to refresh your memory?
I do not think it would be entirely adverse to that.
Well then, shall we?
My heart pounds. Or is it Cornelia's? Perhaps it belongs to both of us. Okay.
Though she had been dead some 150 years, Emmeline's lips were soft and warm, sweet and gentle, filled with a deep sense of yearning. I wonder how long Emmeline had wanted to kiss Cornelia. How long has she been sleeping on this graveyard, dreaming unfulfilled dreams of a time gone by, when she was young and happy and very much alive. Maybe she thought her dream would not come true. That was why she consigned herself to dreaming, and did not awake from her sleepy stupor, a ghostly girl, isolated from the rest of the world. I last saved 30 minutes ago. But now she's finally managed to make her dream come true. Is there any reason for her to haunt this graveyard further? Surely all her regrets have been wiped away. Let the spring sunset, sunshine melting the winter snow. Also, I like how we're gonna talk about how Toma's hair just got longer randomly. She may not understand her dad's motivations for committing such a terrible crime, but I doubt that was the real regret that kept her body tied to the earth. Instead, it was Cornelia. But Emmeline was always Cornelia. It was always Cornelia. Emmy, I will come back. You will come back to me this time, won't you? I have been lonely without you. What? I thought you would have enjoyed the peace of quiet. You always did say I was a nuisance. You may have bothered me, but I did not mind the attention, though I enjoyed the calm. It can be rather dull at times. Then I must go without you. Then I must go with you without delay. I would never want to feel like I would never want you to feel like you had been abandoned. That would be far too sad. Yes, I will be waiting. I have encroached upon this girl's body for far too long, and I should give it back. It would be the proper thing to do. You always did care about the proper thing, Nellie. Evidently, not enough. Not when it comes to you. Mother will be surprised when she learns. I look forward to seeing the expression on her face. I don't think I've ever seen Beatrice Linton surprised by anything before her life. Yes, well, let us see how it goes, shall we? I would like to that more than anything in the world. Cornelia smiles, taking Emmeline's hand in her own and squeezing. I will see you on the other side, Emmy. Please do not tarry. It has already been far too long. Ah! And with that, I feel myself gradually regaining control of my body. My fingertips twitch, my eyelids blink, and I inhale the cool autumnal air almost greedily, like a drowning maiden resurfacing from an inky black water. My body belongs to me again, and only me. My identity once subsumed among Cornelia's ego, like a moon orbiting the earth, has finally been restored. I never realized it until now, but I really do have an identity of my own. I might be quiet, I might be shy, and my classmates might call me weird, but that doesn't invalidate me as a person. Neither is the fact that Amelia Miller took my name, nor the fact that my dad left me when I was still an embryo in my mother's womb. None of that matters. It's all irrelevant. It doesn't change the fact that I exist. I am alive. I am the product of all my ancestors before me,
A whole list of successive relatives with their own stories to tell. And I have a story of my own. How can I throw my identity away? It may not fit me perfectly, but it's the only one I have. If I don't like it, all I need to do is create another. I have that power. Why did I never realize it before, until it was wrestled away from me by a restless memory of a girl long since dead? The old saying must be true. You never realize what you had until you lose it. Verity! Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me. You have no idea how much it means to me. I really am glad I met you, though it was never able to learn your name. I was never able to learn my name. My name? My name, is it? A name that belongs to me. I straighten my back, inhale a lungful of air, and declare, my name is Thomas Andrews. It's a pleasure to meet you, Emmeline. Toma? What a cute name. Cute! The only other person who says that is Haiti. Someone else thinks it's weird. Everyone else thinks it's weird.
Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Now you might get jealous. I think it's perfectly charming, though. Why did you not wish to share it with me?
I am not entirely sure. I was embarrassed. Embarrassed by your name? That's right. But I think I've realized something. I don't want to be embarrassed anymore.
Well, maybe I was able to teach you something too. That was another one of my dreams.
Your dreams?
Yes. I did still love English literature, and I would have enjoyed being a tutor.
That might have been somewhat difficult given the period I lived in.
But it seems times are starting to change.
Emmeline looks down into my school skirt, and I feel myself flushing. Why is my skirt such a point of interest? A public interest? It isn't that short, is it? If Emmeline and Cornelia are scandalized by my skirt, they should see Emily Hargreaves. That would knock them unconscious.
I hope you have a pleasant life, dear Toma. When the time comes, you will have to tell me all about it.
Don't worry, I will. I go on all kinds of adventures, and I get the stories, real stories, to share with you.
I can't wait. It seems like the next century is going to be very interesting indeed.
And with a cheerful giggle, Emmeline's body begins to disappear from the world. I watch as she fades away until she becomes nothing more than a memory. I push my arm. It hurts. Guess this isn't a dream after all. I really did meet a ghost called Emmeline Burns. And I really did meet my long-lost ancestor, Cornelia Linton. My mum would be jealous. A silly smile rises to my lips, despite myself, and I can't help but giggle. I don't know if my body has ever felt this light. No, never mind, I know what that is. I need to keep going forward, no matter what happens. I should try to be more like Emmeline, who didn't give up on her dreams, and even after death, after she died, I could use some willpower like that. It's probably because that strength will... over that Cornelia fell in love with her. Who wouldn't? Despite her sad story, Emmeline Burns really is beautiful. What did I, my Andrews, the recovering victim of identity theft, a recovering victim of identity theft, can someday be as beautiful as her. I left her remain until Thomas says goodbye to her newest and oldest friend. Oh wait, there's more achievements though. But there's more. But there's 2 more achievements to get. But there's 2 more achievements to get. Also, this is very pretty. But there's 2 more achievements to get. There's still 2 achievements to get. There's still 2 achievements to get. Huh? Oh. It's really coming down fast. Hey, look! It's Ebi-Hime's other game. It's one of Ebi-Hime's games. Strawberry vinegar. Okay, need to go quickly dehydrate. Be right back. Also, outfit? Love it. I love those outfits. Adorable. What do you mean, LOL? What are we laughing at now? What are we laughing at, Possum? That doesn't hear of amusement. We're just looking at a very pretty... Creep it real. And also, strawberry vinegar. Ebi-Hime's game. Another girls love video game, if I remember correctly. It's really coming down fast. The sky overhead is steely, slate grey, completely overcast with clouds. The rain falls down in an endless stream, beating mercilessly against the ground. This is just great. The curls are going to fall out of my hair. At least we were able to get our shopping done before it started. I suppose so. It is so dreary, though. Katie frowns, fiddling with one of her curls with her tip of her index finger. She must have spent a long time on those curls this morning. Katie's something of a perfectionist, so she spends a long time on everything. Her handwriting is incredibly neat, an elegant, flowy script that wouldn't look out of place in an 18th century manuscript. But it takes her a small eternity to do all of her schoolwork. Sadly, the dampness in the atmosphere has taken a toll on her curls, and they no longer look as curly as they did a few hours ago. Katie's hair had been deflating slowly throughout the day, but the sudden downpour must have been the last straw. It's alright, Katie, I pause, shifting. The plastic bag is cold beneath the exposed backs of my thighs, and it bites through the thin fabric of my socks. I shiver. Maybe I should have worn something more season appropriate, but I didn't think it would it was going to rain much. I didn't even bother to bring an umbrella. I don't think it was... I know it was foggy this morning, but it's been foggy every single morning these last few weeks. And it didn't rain then. I guess I was just unlucky. I still think it looks nice. You do? That's right. You're very pretty, you know? Kitty blinks. Looks a little perplexed, but only for a few moments. Where's this coming from? Do you feel guilty about the money? Oh no, it wasn't that, really. Well, I wonder. You don't need to feel indebted. I've told you enough times, it's only £5. You can pay me back whenever, and you can keep quiet about it until I forget. Whatever works for you. I'd never do that. What's wrong? I'll pay you back no matter what, even if I have to sell off one of my kidneys. You'd go that far? If I could find anybody willing to make an offer. You're so devoted, like a puppy. This is why I don't mind lending you money. I trust you. Thank you. No, thank you. I didn't do anything to be thanked for, though. My mother always says, honesty is the best policy. It should only be practical. It should be the only policy. I wish everyone was as pure as you, Toma. Kate is always lending me money. Her parents are a good deal richer than mine, and I think she feels kind of guilty about it. I appreciate it, but it wasn't. I wasn't talking about the money earlier. I wanted to pay her a genuine compliment. Because it's how I generally feel. I find it hard to express myself sometimes, though. I've been friends with Katie since we were both in primary school, but I'm still bad at expressing myself around her. Maybe that's because this last year or so, I've begun to regard her as something more than just a friend. I wonder if it was inevitable. I mean, she's the only real friend I have. We always sit together in lunch and we group together in PE. And we have sleepovers at each other's house. Since I see so much of her, it might be natural that I started to like her like that. There isn't somebody else for me to get attached to, and too shy to talk to other people, so I don't have many choices. I know there are girls in my class. I know girls in my class have crushes on celebrities, actors, and singers, and sports stars, but I don't really understand that. How can you like somebody you've never ever even met? You don't know anything about them. He's the only person my age I feel practically close to. There must be more to my feelings than that, though. She's pretty, she's kind, and she makes me laugh. She likes romance stories, and she's read Jane Eyre's about 4 times. Loves kitschy places, like those old-fashioned photography parlors where you get to wear rumpled dresses and act like Victorian ladies. She doesn't think it's weird that I like to spend my time in the graveyards. Maybe that's because her interests are similarly old-fashioned in a slightly different way. When Haiti learned I cut school last Friday because I was loitering in the cemetery, she just nodded her head and said, "That's like you, Toma." Haiti understands me. At least, I'd like to think she does. I hope I can understand her too. Just a little bit. I wonder if that's what love is. Understanding somebody else. That might be why I found it so hard to love myself. I had no idea who I was. Only vague hopes about we want it to be. But that's in the past now. At least I hope it is. You know what's... No, you know... You've been acting a little off lately, Toma. Off? Katie nods. Like, not in a bad way, but just a bit different, that's all. Do you really think that? Yeah, I mean, you actually skipped school for one time. I never would have expected it of a model student like you. Maybe your mother didn't expect it either. She was kind of mad about it. I didn't really know why I did it. I felt compelled. Like you heard some divine voice telling you to ditch class. No, not like that. It's more, I had a feeling. Not that I'm a psychic or anything. Or am I? Could I have mystical powers of some sort, given it was able to speak to a real ghost? I'm not sure. I feel like you've been a bit bored too. Bored? There's no way. I still get anxious when I have to order food at McDonald's. My hands start to shake, and my voice goes all croaky. Do you think the cashier cared that much that you wanted an apple pie? I don't think he cared about me at all, but it didn't make any difference. It's not logical. People really rarely are. Shy people. It's doubly so. I know this only too well, having been shy all my life. You still manage to order it by yourself, though. You usually ask me. Well, I thought I shouldn't rely on you all the time. I mean, you did lend me the money to buy those boots. I gave you a $5. It hardly broke the bank. And that's another thing. You wanted those boots for months. You never bought them. Why the sudden change of heart? I don't know. I thought if I want to do something, I should do it. Life's too short to waste it wanting to do things, but being too worried. I never know when it might end. Just like Emmeline's did. So unexpectedly. I think that's something I learned. After meeting her. I was living my life like a shadow, always hiding myself away in corners, trying to draw as little attention to myself as possible. That's not how I want to live, though. That's not how Emmeline lived, even though she existed in a period where women were expected to shut up and behave. The CM needs to stop calling you out. I need to try to be stronger, rather than wishing I was somebody else. But being too shy and scared and resigned to even try to change. I want to make an effort. I try to recall Emmeline now. The soft curls, the soft lips, the purple bruises that stood out starkly against her pale skin. These attributes feel like little more than a list. They're not real to me anymore than they once were, because I can't see them. I might never see them again. But now she's passed on to the other side, wherever that may be. You'd think seeing a ghost than being possessed by her beloved lover would leave more of a lasting impression. But I guess life continues on. Even Emmeline and Cornelia, whose lives have ended, moved on. I need to keep going too. I haven't told anybody about what I saw, who would believe me. They'd all think I was delusional. I'm half tempted to believe that what I saw might be an illusion, but were it not for the memories that still linger, ghost-like, all at the back of my mind, Yes, I'm gonna check something. Why there are two? Oh, that's why. Right, bronze, right. I love. Motherfucker. The large lake at the Linton Estates. The taste of raspberry lemonade in the long, luxurious summers. Fingers against my skin. Fingers against my skin, running through my hair, tracing patterns against my collarbone. The sensation of lips against my own. But they were not mine. They were Cornelia's, and these are her memories, and I have no business clinging onto them like this. But I can't help myself. When she possessed me, our beings merged. I hold within me all of what she did, in duplicate sepia tone, tinted, yes, but still there nonetheless. These borrowed memories are already starting to slip away, piece by piece, dissipating, dispersing into my dreams whenever I close my eyes at night. It's not gone yet. If I close my eyes and wrinkle my brow and concentrate as hard as I can, I can bring these images to the forefront of my mind once more. I know what it feels like to be kissed on the forehead, on the nose, and on the cheek, the neck, the lips, by the girl I love. But I've never been kissed before. Not truly. It makes me curious. What would it feel like? I glance at Haiti from beneath my lashes, notices in her flush. Is there something wrong? Do I have something on my face? No, it's not that. I'm just thinking. Of what? A memory. Two young girls, drenched in the rain, startled by the sudden downpour. One of them laughs, delighted. The other sighs, wringing out her hair. They bicker back and forth until they approach to reach some kind of truce. A cold embrace with damp clothes and damp bodies. Fingers run through hair, teasing out blank looks, brushing raindrops away from pale cheeks. Lips meet together. The loves are hot. It's not my memory. It's not something I should be remembering. I should try to forget it, ignore it. But I can't. Haiti, Yes? What is it? I wasn't joking earlier. I am... I do think you're pretty, you know. You're being weirdly sentimental today. You haven't been diagnosed with terminal disease, have you? Oh, no. Why would you think that? But you're being all impulsive lately, taking more chances. Isn't that what people do when they find out they're going to die soon? Or when they win the lottery? Haiti frowns. Hey, Toma, if you ever won the lottery and you haven't told me, I'd be really annoyed. I want those £5 back now, with interest. I start to laugh, give Haiti a small push. She almost overbalances, but she's able to right herself at the last moment. Of course I haven't won the lottery. I'm not even old enough to buy a ticket. And the terminal illness disease? No, I don't have a terminal disease, at least. Oh, I think I do. I frown, nearly serious about my nose wrinkling. Is it really that weird that I want... What the fuck was that sound I just heard? Is it that weird I want to pay you a compliment? She is trying to brush me off because she's feeling awkward, is she? I don't want to make Haiti uncomfortable. She's one of my only friends. That's why I didn't tell her how I felt when I found myself thinking of her at old moments and missing her even when she wasn't around. I didn't want her to abandon me. I still don't. But if it's Haiti, I should try to have more faith. I've never had any faith in myself, but she remained at my friend for almost a decade, longer than half my life. I don't think she'd like me any less if I told her how I felt. She might think it's a bit strange, and she might not understand, but I don't really understand either. Maybe I don't need to. I don't know if Emmeline or Cornelia did. Why does everything have to happen for a reason? Why can't things happen? We humans think too much, all of us, so we become our own worst enemies. Always planning and preparing, but never advancing. I'm tired of that. Spurred by the memories of Emmeline and Cornelia, I'm able to gather my courage. It's still small, weak, and there isn't much of it, but it's mine all the same, and it matters. I matter. My feelings matter. Haiti, I looked at my lap, my face light pink, my voice sticks to my throat for a moment. It's only for a moment. I don't want to back down now. I've liked you for a while, maybe for a few months, or maybe longer, I don't know. I think maybe I like you as more than friends. And you might think this is strange, but I'm sorry, I'm a strange person, so you should be used to it. In small silence, broken only by the falling rain. I can hear my heart beating inside my chest, underneath my shirt. What does she think? What kind of expression is she making? I want to lift my head to see, but at the same time I'm scared. But I managed to confess that doesn't mean I'm not afraid. I'm more afraid than ever, but it feels like a weight has been lifted off my chest. And that makes me think that this was all worthwhile. Even if nothing else comes of it, I'm satisfied. I don't need anything more. That's what I try to tell myself, but these thoughts vanish as soon as I feel a soft, warm sensation envelop my right hand. Haiti? It's alright, I know you're strange. That's why I like you. You don't need to apologize for it. So does that mean you... Yeah, I like you too, Toma. You do? She nods. But you've always been those old romance stories, so I thought you prefer a Mr. Darcy or Mr. Rochester. I like romance stories because they're stories. Grumpy old men aren't really my thing. Aren't girls much prettier? That's definitely true. I like girls more too. At least I think I do. My words are wavering, unsure, but the pressure of Haiti's fingers around mine is comforting and helps me calm my heartbeat. I
was
could
just
get
thinking
used
that
to
you
it.
look like
Thank you,
the sort of
Parson.
person who would enjoy one of our fairy kiss chillers.
I get used to this. I want to make memories like this. Lots and lots of memories, all my own. Just for me. This confession might be a bit understated. My emotions revealed at a grotty bus stop on an overcast day, spattered with rain, but that's all right with me. It's not like the love that blossomed between Cornelia and Emmeline on summer days by the lake, sipping on raspberry lemonade. But why should it? This is my life. I'll live it like I want. The past is interesting, and I'm thankful for all my relatives who came before me, who made me who I am, but that is all they did. They should influence how I act as well. Anxiety, shy, I didn't realize that fast enough. Anxiety, anxious, shy, tentative, but nevertheless determined. I tip my head and press my lips against Hades. The rain around me continues to fall, drumming against the rooftop of the bus shelter. The two of us sit there, silently, staring, sharing our kiss, waiting for a bus that might never come. I hope it doesn't. I want this moment to last forever. First kiss. Toma has her first kiss. Woo! The gallery. Look at these galleries. But also, what the fuck is the last achievement? What the fuck is the last achievement? Oh. No? Maybe? Oh, this. I found it. I found it. I found the last achievement.
Sunlight streamed in through the open window, illuminating stray particles of dust as they danced through the air. The glint-edged mirror of Amelia's wall shimmered, the surface sparkling like the edge of a cut jewel. Emmeline lay on her bed, stretched out on her stomach, cat-like, kicking her legs idly back and forth in the air.
What is it gonna be?
Cornelia sat beside her, arms around her legs, knees under her chin, taking up rather less space than Emmeline was. Cornelia was attempting to read a book, but Emmeline kept tutting and sighing and making such a fuss Cornelia could not help but be distracted.
What are you doing, Emily? Emmy?
Oh, I am supposed to be reading this. She gestured to a thick volume on poetry lying on the back before her, hefty enough to knock Nan's teeth out. But it is so tediously, unspeakably dull, I fear I will go quite mad.
Did Miss Warren tell you to read that?
You mean Ellie?
You still call her Ellie?
I can call her what I please. She is under the employment of my father, and she should accept whatever name I see fit to give her.
You, my dear Emmeline, are quite the piece of work. I feel terribly sorry for Miss Warren.
I do not feel sorry for her. Do not feel sorry for her. Feel sorry for me. I'm the one who has been tasked to read this dribble. Though it is so boring, I would rather drive a rusty spike through my head. Cornelia shifted slightly on the bed, squeamish, and held one hand to her chest. Cornelia's complexion was always pale. She did look it, even paler, now like a cadaver.
Must she be gruesome?
I cannot help myself. This Gothic is very much in vogue right now.
I believe that was back in the late 1790s. You're half a century too late to engage in the particular fashion trend, Emmy.
Well, I wish I was reading Radcliffe instead of this nonsense. Why should I care about a leech gatherer of all people? The very notion that some people are so poor they must gather leeches to making a living is depressing enough without reflecting upon it as in verse form.
Ah, Wordsworth, is it?
Wordsworth indeed, and he uses rather too many words. I cannot understand why Ellie, nay, why all of England, is so besotted with him. I wonder it lonely at the cloud indeed.
I don't understand why you dislike him so. I thought you liked poetry.
I do like poetry, but this is not the sort of poetry I like.
Could you not try to focus on the elements of the poetry you enjoy, rather than lingering on those which you despise?
There is nothing but about his poetry I enjoy, Nelly. I cannot stand all the memorializing about poor people. I would wonder how often our genial friend Mr. Wordsworth mingled with leech gatherers and country pesters. Ha!
Emily snorted.
Snorted in a manner that was not entirely dissimilar to a horse. Similarly, slammed her collected works of William Wordsworth shut. She slammed it with such force she nearly sliced it off her finger when she was only able to withdraw her vulnerable digit the very last second. I cannot be doing all of this nonsense, not on such a lovely day. I would rather experience nature with my own senses than read it within these dusty pages written by a dusty old man.
But what of Miss Warren? She would scold you if you did not finish your reading.
Why should I care about what that old spinster thinks? She's like William Wordsworth.
A lot of people like William Wordsworth. He was the poet, laureate.
A lot of people are awfully stupid then.
You should not speak ill of him like that. He was a great man, and he died only 1 year hence. It is rather too soon to insult him. You have not even given his body a chance to cool yet.
Cool or not, I doubt he will care very much about what I think now. Being dead has a tendency to curtail one's ability to care about such things.
Say what you will, but I still don't think it's appropriate.
You don't think anything is appropriate, Nellie. It is a wonder you let me kiss you as I do. Giggling mischievously, Emmeline sat herself up and pressed an unexpected kiss against Cornelia's neck. Cornelia twisted it, her eyelashes fluttering.
Are you a vampire, Emmy?
Perhaps. I feel I get along far better with Lord Byron's verses than Mr. Wordsworth at any rate.
If only Wordsworth had written of vampires,
then you might pay attention. Indeed, I would be more interested. Not as interested as this, however.
Emmy, you will not leave bruises if you kiss me like that. You will leave bruises if you kiss me like that. And yet, despite Cornelia's
feeble protestations,
she found herself inclining her head, giving Emmeline further access to the whole white landscape of skin that made up her neck, her collarbone, and the part of her chest that were not obscured by the light pink fabric of the dress.
Emmeline giggled devilishly, pressing yet another kiss against Cornelia's neck, lower down this time. You say that, but I know you do not truly mind.
I may not mind, but my mother.
Ah, yes. How I could forget that veritable Miss Linton. If your mother caught you with bruises on your fair neck, she might grow rather suspicious.
That's what I was thinking. Though Emmeline was no longer kissing Cornelia's voice escaped from her lips in soft gasp, lighter than usual, the syllables strung together with stutters. Her heart was pounding far too fast, dyeing her cheeks dark crimson. Inwardly, Cornelia scolded herself. She was just like those silly, swooning girl women in books, penned by men. Pamela, in particular, sprung to mind, fell to pieces at the sight of their lords. Her mother had not raised her to be like this, setting this fact of Emmeline was another girl aside, which was a rather important fact, but one Cornelia did not care to examine. Cornelia knew her own conduct was nothing short of shameful. She could hardly breathe, and her heart felt as though it was beating inside her mouth, yet no matter how she tried, she could not gather her composure. Emmeline had a most curious effect upon her. Much like a drug, Cornelia was little better than a helpless opium addict, hardly able to function without Emmeline's kisses and caresses. Yet Cornelia would not have changed her relationship with Emmeline for the world. Your mother might even suspect you've been engaging in dalliances with that awful Wedgwood boy. No, not Aubrey Wedgwood.
Ah!
Self-voicing disabled.
The one and the same, unless you thought I was referring to his father. Emmeline, Mr. Wedgwood, is in fact in his 50s. The idea is preposterous. It's not so very preposterous. We are nearing the age where we ourselves should be married. You know, it is not uncommon for girls our age to marry gentlemen of their twilight years. I would rather not. Not to Aubrey Wedgwood, and certainly not to his father. I would rather die. I am so glad to hear you say that. The feeling is quite mutual. I do not know why you had to ask it to begin with. Should my feelings not be obvious? What do you mean? I mean, well... Cornelia looked down at her lap, linking her fingers together. Even though this may make me less of a woman, or at least not the woman my parents wish me to be, I cannot bring myself to care. You are the one who I love, Emmy, and your virulent hatred of Mr. Wordsworth aside, I do want to think about getting married to a man. I do not want to think to get married by a man. I do not even want to contemplate it. Emmeline blinked for a few moments, momentarily, surprised by Cornelia's sudden burst of honesty. This surprise soon wore away, however, to be replaced with a gentle smile. I feel quite the same. I don't even care if I become an old spinster like poor Ellie. I just want to be with you, no matter what. The next day.
How long is the sides are going to be? Oh no, I'm scared.
What are you doing, Emmy? Drawing? Drawing? I thought you were supposed to be reading more with Mr. Wordsworth. Poetry. I attempted to do so, but it was so very dull. And that was when I had this excellent idea. Yes? Cornelia frowned, deepened. She folded her arms. Though she did not want to question Emmeline, she did wonder, as she always did when Emmeline claimed to have struck upon an excellent idea. How excellent this idea really was. Last time Emmeline had been bestowed with an excellent idea, she had hidden a slug in the pocket of the long-suffering Miss Warren's overcoat, and the poor woman had shrieked loudly enough upon its discovery to rouse even William Wordsworth from his grave in Grasmere. You see, I simply remembered what you told me earlier, my dear Nellie. what was that? He told me to try and find something in Wordsworth's poetry that I found interesting.
And did you?
Of course not. I already told you. I cannot stand his works. There is one thing in this world, however, that I cherish above all else.
And what is that?
Why, it is beautiful women, of course.
Hell yeah. Couldn't they blink it? Where was this going exactly, though she had been close companions with Emmeline throughout the last 14, almost 15, years? She could not profess to possess full understanding of the inner workings of the other girl's mind. Perhaps even Emmeline herself understood such things, given she always seemed to flit from fancy to fancy, restless little bumblebee in the spring. Bumblebee! I am well aware that you like beautiful women, but I fail to see how that relates to the esteemed Mr. Wordsworth.
Why, Nelly, you're being awfully dense today. It is simple. Self-exploration, really. Self-explanatory, really.
It is?
Yes, I see now in order to truly appreciate Mr. Wordsworth's work, I should reimagine him, and the poet himself, into a form more suitable to my desires. That is, I should imagine his body of poetry came not from the hand of a pompous, self-obsessed old git with a big nose, but from a young and beautiful woman. Look, look! Emmeline, beatific in her excitement, showed Cornelia one of the quick sketches she had been working on. Cornelia took the sketch, the furrow in her brow deepening as she did so. There, displayed on the white page, was a young and beautiful woman. Her hair flew below her shoulders in a manner of any young romantic would surely have appreciated, and she wore a loose dress that was rather... Why is it so short? Oh, Cornelia, is it not a fantasy? Do not trouble yourself too much about the details, and I made sketches too. More? Of course, after I redesigned Mr. Wordsworth, I realized that the current landscape of British poetry could use a touch more feminine charm, and I took it upon myself to beautify all of the romantic poets that our country cares so greatly. Apart from Keats, of course. He's not lived long enough to warrant a new design, as far as I am concerned. Of course. Cornelia flipped through Amelia's array of worrying sketches. Her left eye twitching. Emmeline, you really do have a one-track mind.
And that's the game. That's the whole game. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, beautiful women. Hell yeah. Going from that light music to fucking rock, I think. What kind of genre is this music? I don't quite know. Well, hope you all enjoyed that story. I'm glad I actually finished it in one stream, because next week's Sapphic Sunday is gonna be very fun. I'm excited. I'm waiting for this game for a while, and it's coming out soon. Love that the epilogue has been being fan artist indeed. It's actually the proper epilogue. The proper epilogue was just what's her name? Toma falling in love with her friend. That was like an extra story. It's classified as an extra side story, and we love that. We love that. If she did just practice being a fan artist, that's just funny. But yes, that is it for Sapphic Sunday today. Next stream is actually later today in the evening. We don't know what time exactly. Sometime after 10, I think? Well, I'll be doing Lethal Company with the Chaos Trio. The Chaos Trio being, you know, me. The Chaos Trio is, I think I'm a part of. Why are we called the Chaos Trio? I don't know. Ask past me why I gave us the name Chaos Trio. I don't know why we're the Chaos Trio. But we're the Chaos Trio. I'm playing Lethal Company, modded this time, like last time, because I got tired. I got a heads up that we're gonna be doing Lethal Company, so I want like, what if I can figure out some mods that will work properly with the new update? And then I did it. I found it and it's working. But that will be it for the day's stream. Like I said, the next stream will be later today, and tomorrow's stream, I'm gonna try something. But I'm not quite sure how well it's gonna run on the laptop. So if that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to find a backup game. But that's for future me. That's for future me to figure out, not current me. Because current me needs to do things like shower and eat food and get ready for Lethal Company. But again, thanks for hanging out. Hope you all enjoyed. You know where we're going already. I need to spell her name correctly though. You know where we're going. We're gonna go say hi to the pink cat girl herself. She has her magnifying glass out. She's being a little detective. She's being a little detective. So I will see you guys once this ad is finished on my side of the screen, or until the timer runs out. One of those things will happen first. I don't know which one. One of them will. Smiley. Oh god, I've got another ad. Motherfucker. Rat is playing V-Bridger. Alright, ad's over. I'll see you guys later tonight, hopefully. Bye-bye!